What's Jeremiah Smith's NIL value? What's Arch Manning's? What's Carson Beck's? What's Garrett Nussmeier's? What is the NIL value of a backup punter in the Big Ten or even in the Mountain West? Let's talk about why we're talking about this subject and what Deloitte and NIL Go is actually going to do about it. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think that the NIL Go clearinghouse is actually going to work? All right, we're going to get to that, I promise. But I also want to take an opportunity to remind you that we got an audio podcast on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, and I have just put in the first batch of stickers in the mail for anybody that has filled out the form after going to Apple and Spotify to drop your review and tell me where you want me to send you a sticker that I am sending to everyone who has decided they're going to review the podcast on Apple and Spotify to help us grow that particular part. There's also like no ads over there because I don't want to do ads over there, at least right now. So if you like listening to the show 3 days a week and you like getting 40, 50-minute episodes where we just stitch together the segments, that's one way of doing it. We'll have some other exclusive content that's going on over there. I should also note that the Spotify podcast is a video podcast, so you can get that here or there. Just depends on whatever it is you're into. So, Deloitte, NIL Go. I started this by asking a simple question, right? I say it's a simple question with a very complex answer. How much are some of the sports stars in college football worth? If you're looking at Arch Manning, probably about $6.5 million, depending on whether or not you believe on threes valuation standpoint. Or if you're looking at Jeremiah Smith, 4.2, 4.1. Carson Beck, 4.3, because that's what we know he's getting paid. Carson Beck's not that dissimilar from Garrett Nussmeier. It's about $4 million, and on down the line it goes, right? We expect a starting quarterback in a Power 4 school to make around $2 to $4 million annually. That's what we expect. $3 million is pretty good, right? John Mateer is in that range at Oklahoma, for example. Jeremiah Smith stands out here because he is not a quarterback, but I would argue he is the best player in the sport. There's an argument for Caleb Downs, just Caleb Downs plays safety and Jeremiah Smith plays wide receiver, and one of those positions is more important for scoring points than the other. That said, Caleb Downs ran one back last year. He also put one on the floor. I'm saying all this to say NIL Go, set up by Deloitte, is part of this House versus NCAA settlement. It's supposed to act as an NCAA clearinghouse for any NIL deal that is worth $600 or more. You have to actually upload paperwork and a contract, and then you go through a vetting process that decides whether or not the price that is being paid to the athlete is commensurate with the services that are being provided. This is not going to hold water. Like that's the thing. This is not going to hold water. And you know what? Good on Deloitte, because you getting paid to count somebody else's money and then give an evaluation on this. So what I thought was funny about this is that Ross Dellinger does a really great job of covering what's been going on with House versus NCAA. Nobody's been better on the beat than he has. And he got a really interesting note from Deloitte, which is 70% of the previous NIL deals would have been voided by the NIL Go clearinghouse run by them, which I thought was funny because, well, 70% of 100% of deals, because 100% of those deals are coming through. There's really no way you're going to be able to argue this in court, not just because we don't like it. I mean, you are worth what anybody wants to pay you, but because we already settled this. This law has been settled. Alston versus NCAA, which essentially says you're worth whatever it is somebody wants to pay you. And we have lots of millionaire boosters, I say lots, who are willing to throw money at 19, 20-year-olds for the opportunity to have them play in their colors at their school and probably try to win a championship, right? If they want to pay Jeremiah Smith $8 billion to play football at Ohio State, that's their right. There's nothing that's going to be able to stop that in court. If you got a backup punter at Nevada who's making $500,000 to lay in the cut, that's his money. Somebody wants to pay it to him, that's what it is. This is also was settled with Nico Iamaleava, which is again, it's wild because this dude has been at the genesis of so much because he came around right when he did. But there was an NCAA issue that was saying, hey, I don't think you're allowed to pay, players before they get to school just for signing. And Tennessee said, oh, really? And decided to get their state attorney general involved. And they sued. I don't understand this either. If you believe that it is your right to tell somebody what to do with their money, you got another thing coming, my guy. That's not what we do here. That's not what we do in the United States of America. We are a capitalist society here. We are a capitalist market here. We say, hey, if I can get it for cheap, I got it for cheap. We not above the bootleg. We not above the bougie. Right? If we can get it for nothing, we go, free 99 is a way of living. But so is overpaying as a flex, right? I paid this much money because it's worth this much money to me. Yes. Absolutely. We don't believe in sunk cost fallacy in college football. We haven't ever believed in the sunk cost fallacy in college football. We're not trying to make money here. We're trying to win. Money's got very little to do with it. Like, you need money to get to the table. After that, can you play? Can you win? Whatever money you got to spend to get there, you're willing to get there. So I'm picking on Arch Manning and Jeremiah Smith here, not because they're Arch Manning and Jeremiah Smith, because they play at Ohio State and Texas, which are two institutions that have shown anybody that will listen, we don't care how much it costs. Do you see the words that are coming out of my mouth? We do not care how much it costs. We will pay. We will pay. We will pay. We need to win. That's what this is about for us. This is life and death over here, all right? This is blood. This is what it's about. I don't really like putting it in terms of war or medical care. But when you talk about what sports means to people and what their team means to them, yeah, you get there real quick, fast, and in a hurry. You can come to understand, yeah, I could see how somebody would probably want to pay Carnell Tate $1 million just to hit the transfer portal, which is the thing that was trying to happen. Same thing happened with Josh Hoover, Texas Christian quarterback, Tennessee, right? We learned last week, Kevin Jennings turned down an offer to hit the portal to go to Bama from SMU. It doesn't matter. What everybody got a price. What's your price? And you know what you're finding out in college football? People are willing to pay you your price. So yesterday's price is not today's price, is a way of living in college football. That's just what we are. That's just what we do. We've been this way since television got into the game. It was like, wait a second, we have not a way of watching games on television, which is secondary. We have a way of feeding the football program with more money, so we can win more championships. That's the reason, okay? This ain't about making no money. Higher education doesn't make no money, right? That's not what it's about. We are going to lose money on this. This is a loss leader. So we better lead while we lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, we trying to get the W's here. I understand that. So for Deloitte to be in charge of this thing is funny. But the NIL Go clearinghouse, I don't think that's the way you're going to be able to enforce these things. That's just not going to be what it is. You're going to have to go another way. Although, I would like to see just who is the first team they pick on who says, hey, look, we don't think that this deal is fair market value. And who's going to thumb their nose at these bankers.